IRS criminal investigation. Top areas officials are aggressively enforcing in 2020 and how your small business could be affected. Here is what you need to know about the Internal Revenue Service's Criminal Investigation Department and why they classified their investigations into the following program and emphasis areas discussed in this video. As a small business owner, you would want to pay attention to this kind of stuff because your company might be affected directly or indirectly and thus receive significant penalties and even be subject of criminal prosecution, whether you knew of the scheme or not. Watch now. Welcome back, folks, to another edition of Sweetie Kiwi. How you doing today? I'm doing fantastic if you were to ask me, and I hope you are doing as great as I am. If you are, please go grab a cup of coffee or tea or vodka and let's roll. Today I want to talk to you about an important element, because if there is one agency, one sub-department at the IRS you don't want to deal with at all, you don't want to mess with them, it's a department called Criminal Investigation. IRS Criminal Investigation, aka CI. The thing is that when those guys get involved, that means your case has gone too far. Whether you have committed fraud or you've done something very, very big. Because usually, if you have a problem with the IRS and you get audited, the auditors may just slap you with the penalty, or they just correct your tax return and just have you pay. But if they transfer your return or your case to CI, that means you better get a lawyer. So today I want to talk to you about the top areas that officials are aggressively enforcing in 2020 and beyond, because this is not just 2020 for 1 year, it could be 2021, 2022, all the way, because they've been doing this for at least 25 years now, and your small business could be affected. First, abusive return preparer enforcement. So the return preparer fraud generally involves the orchestrated preparation and filing of false income tax returns in either paper or electronic form by unscrupulous preparers who may claim, for example, inflated personal or business expenses, false deductions, unallowable credits, or excessive exemptions. So this could apply to a small business. For example, if you are the perpetrator of that fraud, or you work with a company that has perpetrated that kind of fraud, the CI, the Criminal Investigation Department, will come after you. Number two, abusive tax schemes. The authorities are just very serious about enforcing laws around abusive tax schemes. Abusive tax scheme originally took the structure of abusive domestic and foreign trust arrangements. However, these schemes have evolved into sophisticated arrangements that take advantage of the financial secrecy laws of some foreign jurisdictions and the availability of credit or debit cards issued from offshore financial institutions. So if you are a business, you want to make sure that you just stay away from that, right? Unless you got good doctors, good lawyers who understand the law, and you want to stay away from that. You want to incorporate your business in America or in a quote unquote reputable country, nothing offshore. Don't get into those sophisticated arrangement, unless again you are a big company, because big companies do that. They have the means to do it and sustain it and prove it that it is legal. It is legit. It's just that it just takes too much convolution. It's so convoluted and costs money. So I would say if you're a small business, focus on generating income for your business and paying your cash and paying your taxes. Number three, bankruptcy fraud. One of criminal investigations' goals in bankruptcy fraud investigations is to increase voluntary compliance with federal tax law through the prosecution of those committing significant crimes in the bankruptcy arena. Since the IRS is often a major creditor in many bankruptcy proceedings, it is important, therefore, that the agency protects the interest of the IRS, right? So if you have a business and you're trying to file for bankruptcy so you can evade your fiscal obligations, criminal investigations might come after you. Number four, corporate fraud. Corporate fraud frequently involves violations of the Internal Revenue Code, through what? You have falsification of corporate and individual tax returns, and CI in this case has exclusive investigatory jurisdiction over criminal violations of the IRC. So do not engage in fraud in your small business. Number 5, employment tax enforcement. This is kind of tricky, but the authorities have been following it they have been scrutinizing this for the last 7 years. Employment tax evasion schemes can take a variety of forms. Some of the more prevalent methods of evasion include something called pyramiding, employee leasing, paying employees in cash, filing false payroll tax returns, or failing to file payroll tax returns at all. Evading employment taxes can have serious conversations for employers and the employees. So this is just something not to do. I'll be right back right after this. Don't go anywhere. Welcome back, folks, to another edition of Sweetie Kiwi. If you haven't done so, if you haven't already done so, please consider subscribing to our channel. This is the best thing you can do that will make us so happy right now. And most important, turn on the notification bell. That's, of course, if you believe we're adding value to your life. We release new shows every single day, rain or shine. And the good thing here is that please put in the comments your experience dealing with the IRS. If you have had the unfortunate experience of dealing with the IRS criminal investigation section, let us know. Or if you have questions in general, in the comment section, please put in there. Also, share this content and like. Let's talk about financial institution fraud. That's the next, number 6. Criminal investigation focuses on tax and money laundering violations involving fraud against banks, savings and loan associations, credit unions, check cashers, money remitters, and other financial institutions. So currency transaction report and suspicious activity reports continue to be effective investigative tools in the financial world. Next, gaming. So if you're running an illegal gaming operation, including bookmarking, numbers, internet, and some charitable gaming operations, the CI section will come after you, because they have been in the last 10 years areas of compliance concern. Criminal investigation continues to play an enforcement role in the illegal gaming industry and to support regulatory and legislative initiatives aimed at eliminating an environment conducive to illegal gambling. Because when you have illegal gaming, you are de facto talking about illegal gambling, right? General fraud investigation. The agency, the department, the CI department within the IRS conducts from time to time what they called general fraud investigations. So the special agents working for the CI investigates violation of the tax laws and related financial crimes. Taxpayers who chose to willfully and intentionally not comply with their legal responsibility to file required tax returns and or pay taxes, they pose a serious threat to tax administration and the American economy. So just stay away from it. Next, 9, healthcare fraud. So you have multi-agency healthcare fraud investigation and prosecution show that perpetrators of these schemes financially benefited from their fraudulent activities in false billings. That's a big one. False billings, mental health, nursing home fraud. That's another big one. Chiropractic fraud, durable medical equipment fraud, staged accidents. That's another one. That's another big one. Pharmaceutical diversion and patient referral. So patient referral scheme, you have kickbacks. So in these investigations, the criminal investigation section follows the money trail and considers both tax and money laundering perspectives. So your small business should just stay away from that, or not basically deal with people or deal with third parties that engage in that kind of schemes. Identity theft schemes. CI detects and investigates tax fraud and other financial fraud, including fraud related to identity thefts, right? Somebody is just using another citizen's social security number, or people are just impersonating others while filing tax returns, CI is really going aggressively against those people. Internal investigations. Yeah, a lot of folks think that the IRS only covers the United States. Now, just like the FBI, they will go after you overseas as long as you are doing something in connection with the United States. So international tax compliance is a top priority of the IRS. Complex international tax avoidance schemes and cross-border transactions have heightened the IRS concern about tax compliance. So individuals may attempt to use foreign accounts, trusts, and other entities to commit criminal violations of U.S. tax laws, as well as narcotics, money laundering, and Bank Secrecy Act violation, the BSA. We have an entire show that will cover the BSA topic, the Bank Secrecy Act. I'll be right back right after this. Don't go anywhere. Welcome back, folks, to another edition of Sweetie Kiwi. I'm still here talking to you about the IRS criminal investigation. You don't want to mess with them because they will come right after you and they will punch hard. So I'm talking to you about the top areas that officials are aggressively enforcing in 2020 and how your small business could be affected. The next, I would say, compliance or enforcement area is Money Laundering and Bank Secrecy Act, the BSA. Money laundering is a very complex crime involving intricate details, often involving numerous financial transactions and financial outlets throughout the world. So criminal investigation has the financial investigators and expertise that is critical to follow the money trail. That's what the authorities do. They always follow the money trail. Narcotics-related investigations. The IRS CI department has had a tremendous contribution in the last 10 years when it comes to the war on narcotics. And this is very vital, even though it's very difficult to recognize because the work of the IRS special agents usually doesn't make the headlines. The long hours of tracking down and documenting financial leads allows an investigation to go right to the door of the leader of the narcotics organization, which contributes to the disrupting and dismantling of the country's major drug and money laundering organizations. You have another enforcement area, and that's called non-filer enforcement. And that's a big one because we've seen this on the internet, and if you happen to read, you go to those chat rooms, you hear they have always been individuals who, for a variety of reasons, they argue that taxes are voluntary or illegal. The courts have time and again rejected their arguments as frivolous and routinely imposed financial penalties for raising such frivolous arguments. So you want to take the time to learn the truth about frivolous tax argument. The bottom line here is that you need to file and pay taxes, as do the great majority of Americans. Don't fall for those, non-filer or you don't have to pay taxes. It's written nowhere in the Constitution. No, just file your taxes and pay if you owe. Next, we have public corruption crimes. So public corruption investigations encompass a wide variety of criminal offenses, including bribery, extortion, embezzlement, illegal kickbacks, entitlement and subsidy fraud, bank fraud, tax fraud, and money laundering. So criminal investigation concentrates its resources on the tax and money laundering aspects of these investigations in cooperation with other federal, state, and local law enforcement agencies. The FBI is always present in those kind of public corruption crimes. The expertise used in investigations has established the criminal investigations reputation as one of the leaders in the fight against corrupt public officials. Number 16, questionable refund program, QRP. Now, QRP is a nationwide multifunctional program designed to identify fraudulent returns, to stop the payment of fraudulent refunds, and to refer identified fraudulent refund schemes to be investigated and prosecuted criminally. So, folks, these were the top 16 areas where officials are aggressively enforcing this year and beyond. And I'll just kind of explain to you that even though your small business might not be the direct perpetrator, your company might be indirectly affected. So you got to watch out for those 16 enforcement areas so that you can protect your small business and yourself. Let me recap the 16 enforcement areas. Abusive return preparer enforcement, abusive tax schemes, bankruptcy fraud, corporate fraud, employment tax enforcement, financial institution fraud, gaming, general fraud investigations, healthcare fraud, identity theft schemes, international investigations, money laundering and bank secrecy acts, narcotics related investigations, non-filer enforcement, public corruption crimes, questionable refund program, the QRP. I will talk to you another time. But until then, remember, stay marvelous.